Dude, we're live. Episode 35. We should have some like cool ass intro music. Are you good at making music, man?
I'm not good at making music. I've never made music before, but I think that'd be cool to do.
Have you ever wanted to make music?
I did like some digital media creation stuff in college. It was kind of fun. I'd enjoy digging into it.
That sounds like one of those things where it's like chess club. It's like,
I got a digital arts and media certificate. What does that mean? It means I took Adobe Photoshop class,
I'm so proud of you right now.
I guess. I learned about layers.
I'm so proud of you. I don't even know what you said, but it sounds like something. It sounds like something like no wonder you had problems finding chicks.
That's funny.
Because like what lady would be like impressed by that? I mean, nowadays it's probably different, but back when I was
that's why it's a certificate. It's not the degree. You could have also gotten like a health and they had like a HIPAA health and arts whatever certificate too, where you learned about like PHI or some shit. I don't know.
And then you're like, how come I'm not getting invited to any parties?
Because I'm 26 and everybody else is fucking 18.
There you go. All right.
Why?
So here we are. We're going to talk about tonight's episode so we're learning how to make like a real podcast, me and you. So any of the listeners who've been listening so far are like, do these guys know what the hell they're doing? The answer is no. Neither one of us
Evan's
know what
on
we're doing.
this is your 4th podcast?
Yeah, but all the other ones, you handed them off to somebody else and then they made it something special, So this one I'm trying to learn, like, how do you make a podcast that like provides value to people? People are like, oh my God, I need to go listen to InfoSec to, whatever the hell.
That'd be fucking cool, right?
I don't know.
Say that.
We're working on it. I mean, we're putting together slowly but surely, putting together notes and things and trying to make
I'm just trying to figure out how to help you however I can.
Good luck, man. You and my therapist and my wife and my kids can all join up together and what can we do to help this guy?
We're doing it. We're doing
it. All right. So I was going to read it. Like I have the open monologue right here in front of me. So I was going to read it.
I was wondering if you were going to read it.
I'm not good at reading scripts. But here, I'll read it. All right. You ever have one of those days where it's hard to read it, man, where you're just staring at your screen like a damn zombie? You're not tired, not really, but your brain is. Like, nah, we're not doing this today. This was me. That was me last Tuesday. I got up, sat down to work, and nothing. Just this fog, this weird, heavy, why does this feel pointless kind of thing. And here's the kicker. I love what I do. I live for this shit. But burnout I should practice this damn thing first.
Yeah, I think you're thinking too much about reading it.
Burnout doesn't always hit like a wall. Sometimes it's a slow, silent leak, Matt.
It is.
Yeah. So today's episode is personal. All these have been. So we've been, the last, 4 or 5 episodes have been about mental health awareness. And so the backstory on that was May was Mental Health Awareness Month. And mental health is like a really big deal for me. I have my own struggles. I know you have your own struggles. I think probably everybody has something. You know what I mean?
Everyone has something and we're just not open to talking about it.
Yeah. So I was like, I wrote a whole bunch of blog posts about it. And then I'm like, we're going to talk about it on this podcast. And if people listen and they get, they get help from it, then awesome. If they think we're a bunch of idiots, then awesome. I don't really care. You know what I mean? Because I think in this, like in today's like society and in this industry, the information security industry, there's so many, I mean, how much time do you spend worrying about what somebody else thinks about you?
Too much time.
I think a lot of people do. And I'm 30 something years in this industry and 54 years old. And I probably did too when I was, younger. But now I've gotten to this age. I'm like, I don't really care what people think. I'm going to be me and, I'm going to try to be respectful. But, when you see bullshit, aren't you supposed to call that out?
Got to keep people accountable, personally, professionally.
Yeah. So last week we talked about, what the hell did we talk about last week, Matt? Do you remember?
No, I'm pretty terrible. fuck over. Addiction isn't just drugs and booze.
All right. So last week we talked about addiction. This week we're going to talk about burnout, right? And this is after there was like I said, I've been writing these I've been writing these blog posts about mental health things, mental health things that came to mind, mental health things that, I think I struggle with. And so this particular blog post is burnout looks different than you think. Have you read that one?
Honestly, I didn't get to it this week. I failed.
Matt, I feel like we should start this whole podcast over again.
We probably should.
And get our shit together first.
I'm all fucked up, dude.
All right. So when we get our shit together, what we're going to do is we'll have this opening, right? And there will be an opening monologue. So just to envision it, if you're a listener, you're like, oh, okay, so that's what they're going to try to do.
See the future.
Yeah. So there's going to be the opening, which will be me talking about the opening. And then I'm going to introduce Matt like we always do. We're going to banter a little bit, and then we're going to dive headfirst into whatever soul-sucking shit we're dealing with this week, right? So that reminds me, we have a segment. What the fuck happened this week? Or I guess, WTF. If people are offended by swear words, we'll just say WTF happened this week. Huh?
Meh.
What's meh mean?
Means I don't care if they're offended over WTF.
I thought it was like a sheep thing. All right, so you're not a sheep. Meh. Well, you're from Wisconsin, so
there's farms and cows and things up here.
Oh yeah, lots of sheep. All right, so let's get into the madness. Every damn week, I think we've hit the peak of cyber stupidity, and every week, boom, the universe says, hold my beer.
That's awesome, by the way.
There's more. Yeah. So here's your weekly dose of digital BTF. Number one, AT&T's data leak. AT&T never loses data.
Is this anything new?
Well, it is, because it's another one.
Well, it's another, yeah.
So 86 million records were exposed. T6 million.
Hold on, let me check the stock price. I just sold a bunch of their stuff and made some money. I wonder if it went back down. No, probably didn't get impacted at all, right?
Probably not. No, we talked about that accountability thing. But 86 million, that's how many AT&T customer records just got dumped. And guess what? They included decrypted social security numbers.
How did they get decrypted?
Weak encryption. Or maybe they dumped them that way. No, they dumped them that way. That's how.
So
that's how
this article is thinking it's related to the snowflake. Do you remember hearing about that?
Oh, God, yes.
So do we think we're starting to see more of the line that happened around that cover-up?
Yeah. Yeah, there's...
Dude, AT&T's $27. That shit was $20 6 months ago. And they just had a huge... I guess breach is making more money. Fuck.
So
all right.
Not only did they lose your data, but it's basically gaff-tripped. Gaff-tripped. Oh, my God. I'm sober right now. I'm actually drinking... What is this? Fresca.
It's all because you don't have your AirPods. Blame it on that.
It really is, because I hate hearing myself talk, and when I have my AirPods in, I can't hear what I'm saying.
You got the canceling thing.
My normal. But now I'm hearing everything, so I sound like it's like in my head. Get the hell out of here.
You're already in there, so it's like a double thing.
It totally is. So anyway, not only did they lose your data, but it's basically gift wrapped, not gaff ripped for identity thieves. So this is data from a breach they claimed was in 2024. So like you said, it was the snowflake related to that, but no big deal, right? Turns out it was a very big deal. Who knew? Everybody. I mean, we know. But like you said last week when we were talking about the first time we did this segment, it's like, meh, like you said, you do the sheep sound.
We'll just call it that. I should ask my buddy. He does streaming for podcasts. He's probably got a little thing. We can do a button and we could do like an actual meh sound. That'd be pretty funny.
Can I get that? Just a little button I can push?
Yeah, I can probably figure out how we can do that.
Just think, man, by episode 100, we're going to have this thing dialed in.
Fuck yeah.
It's going to be awesome. Because I was also looking at, in podcasts, what do they have behind them? You know what I mean? They have a cool studio that they're in. I mean, I'm in a cool place, but this is basically a big bar. one piece of really big wood. It's like a super cool thing, but you can't see it on the screen. But I got to do like a neon lights and shit.
Make like a closet, whatever. There's a former adult film actress. She streams video games, but she's in her closet and she's like all the stuff in a closet.
Yeah.
So that's like her studio. Maybe I need to just go in a corner, get some shit.
Go in a corner with your sheep. All right, so number 2. So that was AT&T. So if you didn't know about it, and I'm an AT&T customer. Are you, Matt?
I've never been an AT&T customer for personal cell phone. It's been Verizon or Sprint.
All right.
There you
Well,
go.
I'm an AT&T customer. SIM swap me. You can SIM swap me too if you want. All right, so number 2, China's hacker bounty board. It turns out China's putting up wanted posters, literally offering bounties for Taiwanese hackers they claim have been attacking their critical infrastructure. I don't know how much you know about China, but this certainly smells like geopolitics wrapped in cyber theater. Taiwan says it's bullshit, and honestly, it probably is, knowing China. Either way, using cyber as a political weapon, not new, still stupid. But it's interesting. I've never seen that.
So I don't know what I don't know about China. I just hear all sorts of geopolitical stuff. So I come thinking from a different lens. We put up wanted posters for their people. Why wouldn't they put up wanted posters too? It doesn't seem like a big deal to me.
Mm-hmm. It's not. But it's the first time I've seen China do it.
So like either they're getting ballsy or they've gotten more sophisticated where they can actually figure out who's at the keyboard.
Well, China's looking for any possible reason to go and
start something,
invade Taiwan. Now they've been provoking for years,
for a long time,
sending their little ships through, and so I think it's just another one of those things. Number 3, Cartier and North Face. They both got popped.
I heard about North Face this week.
And so if you want to talk, so this is also related to
Snowflake.
Yep. Starting to see more and more. And the reason why you're seeing them now is because there were some dumps.
Yeah, they probably go through the data and then everything was lipped up through legal fucking contracts and stuff during investigations, and they probably didn't have logs to validate they were actually compromised, so they didn't have to disclose, and we just talk our way out of everything.
Well, most companies try to, if they don't have to disclose, they're not gonna. So because nothing says secure luxury like having your customer data breached. Both Cartier and North Face got hit. Thankfully, no credit card info was snagged, but names and emails were. So limited in terms of impact. Here's the question, though. How many times do we have to say it? If your brand is built on trust, how about securing your damn system? That's expensive, people. That's rich people buy that stuff, right?
I've never heard of it, so probably.
Never heard of Cartier? It's like jewelry, I think. I'm not a rich people person either.
I'm from Wisconsin, man. I don't know.
So we're going to do these things too, like squirrel moments, because I think squirrel moments are cool because I squirrel a lot. And so I was talking to my leadership team, FR Secure leadership team, and I was talking to Michael Kennedy. He's the CEO of Ostra, right? Today I talked to all of them. It was kind of a busy day.
Your podcast with him today?
No, just catching up. I just called him out randomly. I was on my way to Home Depot. Another squirrel moment. I went to Home Depot because I wanted to buy another Starlink. And my wife is, what are you going to Home Depot for? And I'm like, to get a Starlink. And she's like, don't we have one? I'm like, yeah. She's like, why do you need another one? I'm like, I don't know. Just want to play
redundancy.
Well, yeah, we got fiber to the house, and then I already have a Starlink, and then it's like, well, let's get another Starlink. I don't know what I'm doing. Anyway, what was the point?
Exactly what you're doing.
I do, but it's better to play like you don't. So the random thought was money. People, because Cartier, right? Rich people stuff. And I tell everybody that where I'm at in terms of, my pay, whatever, I don't want any more money. Like, I'm fine. Don't pay me anymore. And what I'd rather do is focus on my leadership team. Like, what do you need? What level? Because the thing is like you have this lifestyle. You get to this lifestyle, whatever that is. It's different for everybody, right? So for me, it's whatever I'm getting paid right now. I'm good. I don't need $1 million a year. I don't need 2 million. I don't need 10. I'm good right now. I've got everything I need and I'm fine. And I'm happy, like really happy. And some people, like, their number might be 2 million a year, 5 million, 10 million. I mean, they just like, they appreciate the fancier shit in life. Yeah. And so I was telling my management team, and they've heard me say this before, like, don't pay me anymore. They're like, and they think I'm bullshitting them. I'm like, no, I mean it. But, let's get, I don't know. It's weird. Cause like Cartier doesn't, I don't wear no bling. I don't wear any blingy shit. It's just not me. It's nothing wrong for somebody who does wear blingy shit. If you wear blingy shit, then you like it, do it. If you can afford it. And if you can't afford it and you work for me, I'll try to figure out a way so you can afford it. I do tattoos, but those tattoos are a lot cheaper, I think, than the Cartier stuff. I don't know.
Harder to steal.
Yeah. Talk to the cartel. They'll figure a way to get that off.
Yeah. Yeah. Heard those stories.
Mm-hmm. All right. So number 4. This one is slick. You hear me? Mm-hmm. Slick. Hackers rolled out a fake Salesforce data loader app to jack business credentials in Europe and the Americas. The group behind it, UNC 6040, isn't just phishing, they're spear phishing with sniper rifles.
Snap.
Yep. If your team's still downloading apps off Google like it's 2009, maybe it's time to audit that behavior. So it's a fake Salesforce app. It's a scam. It's available through Google. Google's the one who found it. And that started the shit show.
How does it get into Google? My question.
I mean, Google's it's that's one of the problems with Android and Google shit is it's easier to get things into the Google store than it is to get things into the Apple store. There's just a lot more scrutiny to getting it into the Apple store, including passing security tests and things that Apple does. Google purposely went this way because it makes it closer to like open source, right? You have a larger development community making things, and so allegedly there would be more innovation in that approach.
To me, that seems like it just adds confusion. So for this, who's to blame? Salesforce or Google for allowing it in? Salesforce for not protecting your brand and spotting this sooner?
Or the user for not,
or the person for not
installing shit that you don't understand.
You know who it's going to be, the person, always.
Well, that's another reason why Google hasn't, there's been no push from a company perspective to switch it because they're not suffering at all for it. It's the users. Which I kind of, in a way, I sort of like that because it's like you should not just download shit and install shit if you don't need shit and you don't know how it works.
That's true. But so you got your mom getting ready to retire, your company just switches over and they say, you need to go download Salesforce. She goes out, types in Salesforce. It's possible she clicks the wrong one because they don't give her documentation or she doesn't know.
Or poor mom. You know how we say that in Spanish?
Perdo mamá.
Pobre. Pobre mamá.
Pobre. Pero.
Pobre madre. Poor mother.
Perdo. Pobre.
Yeah. All right. So that was part of the news. Now this one, maybe we'll do a whole podcast on this one because this one everybody's talking about. And I think there's a lot of most of the people in our industry are like panicky about it.
Yep.
And I've got a way different take, I think, than most people do from just, the people that I know and what they do. It's like, anyway, let me read it.
From the conversations we've been having, I think I'm on your side.
Yeah, we could do a whole podcast on this and maybe bring somebody, maybe we'll bring a former, well, anyway, let me tell you what it is. So, and in the grand condition tradition, I have to learn how to read. I don't know how to read anymore, Matt. Where's ChatGPT? Can ChatGPT read for me too?
Probably.
All right.
Ryan can get it to do voice, I think.
Dude, let's not go down that path right now. That's going to get nuts. All right. So in the grand tradition of let's cut security funding right when we need it most, CISA is facing a $495 million budget cut and losing a third of their staff. That's like cutting your brakes while you're driving toward a cliff. What the actual hell are we doing, folks? The bad guys are leveling up and we're playing budget Jenga. Now, obviously, I did not write that. Like I was telling you, before we started the podcast, I had to put something together quick because I didn't prepare well. That's another thing we're going to do better in this podcast is like actually prepare ahead of time. I suck at that, but I got to learn. So I had ChatGPT help me with these notes. I'm like, write some shit on this stuff. And this is what it wrote. And I'm like, damn, that's not at all what I would have written here. Because the way I feel about, okay, number one, I don't know why people put so much trust in the federal government on anything, especially things that I should be doing for myself.
Organization.
Right. And so, like, do I really expect CISA to do security better than me? Hell no, I don't. It's my responsibility. Do I appreciate the help? Do I appreciate the guidance? Do I appreciate the newsletters? Do I appreciate that kind of stuff? Sure. Do I appreciate the threat feed stuff, the ISACs? Yeah, man, that's good stuff. But when you look at how much money, I think to date, I think CISA from the beginning, and it started in President Trump's first.
Biden signed it, right? And then.
No, it was Trump who kicked it off. And it was Chris Krebs who was the first director. But since then, to date, we've spent something, I don't know, $13 billion on CISA. And when I look at the return on our investment, I'm like, I don't know. I don't think I got $13 billion worth of return.
I'm pretty sure you have a pretty deep insight into the landscape as well. So, like, it's not like you're talking out your ass about the money delivering return.
I'll give you one example. So there's lots of them. The Project Broken Mirror. Have I ever told you about Project Broken Mirror?
Yes, sir. That's what I was referring to.
So Project Broken Mirror, and I'm still working on it, right? It's the effort to map the attack surface of the entire United States and to do it through the community, right? It's not going to be me doing it by myself. And so when I went to CISA with this idea, I'm like, hey, rather than this, I don't know what they do, this hygiene thing scan, like you can sign up for a free vulnerability scan thing.
Yep.
And
by the way, companies don't want to agree to that stuff because they're scared. So I tried to do this with my organization and the lawyers jumped in and they're scared to join that program because if something's found, we don't want the government or the FBI or whatever coming and holding us accountable. So they don't want to sign up for those programs. So right, really, it's not helpful.
There's going to be a trust thing, right? I mean, depending on who's administration and who's in power and all this stuff, you're going to have half the country that ain't going to trust you. The other half is going to think you walk on water. And then it goes from Democrats to Republicans, and now it's flipped. And it's like, now we hate you. Now and it's like, that's just not the right way to do it. And not just that, but when you sign up for that service, you go on a waiting list. And I'm thinking to myself, why? Why wouldn't this just be automated? I mean, I don't know. How much money do you need to do it? And so I went to CISA and I'm like, hey, this is a much better solution, and they're like, yeah, we blah, blah, blah. I mean, it was a lot of rationalization and excuse making. And so I'm like, all right, I'll just do it myself. So then I mapped the attack surface of all the counties in the United States. And it was, 3,144 counties. Took 6 virtual private servers, so 6 VPSs that I set up, and $250 total out of my pocket to do it. And then I showed them the map. I'm like this. Like, well, who gave you authorization to do that? I'm like, whose authorization do I need? Well, before you scan somebody, you should get authorization from them. I'm like, the attackers don't work like that. Why are we playing this bullshit? If it's publicly available, it's just like me driving down the road and I notice that your door's open. It would be illegal if I walked into your house. That's illegal. And it would be illegal if I even if I shut the door. Right. So there's only two things really that are illegal if you want to scan something. One, you can't bypass any security controls. Number two, you can't degrade service. So I can't take a shit offline. That's a denial of service, and that's illegal.
Plus, the shit's being scanned constantly anyway.
Right.
If it's public.
And so I was like, we could be so much further ahead, because if you were going to work down the strategy of like securing critical infrastructure, we'll map the attack surface of the entire United States and make it public. Well, you can't do that. You can't show what somebody else has available on the internet. I'm like, but it's available on the internet. I mean, everybody knows it already. Well, and Shodan has parts of it, right?
Parts of it, yeah.
So I'm like, this is making zero sense, because the attackers are already way ahead of us. They already know all this. What, shouldn't we know all this if we're going to protect ourselves against this? And they're like, well, no, but they just made excuses. And then they said they've always had this hygiene thing. I'm like, if you had half a, like, I don't know, man. I mean, if you would already have it done, and all you would do is like, just click the button, sign up, and we're just going to show you your results. That's already done. There's no wait list. And then do you want this updated on like a weekly basis or a monthly basis? Just click this and we'll just schedule it programmatically. There's nothing else needed. I don't understand. But that's just one of like many examples of like, what are you doing? Where's the money going? And where a lot of the money actually is going is marketing.
Marketing or tech. Paying for licenses and shit.
And a lot of people. I mean, they were picking off state CISOs left and right all across the country, joining CISA as a regional director thing, and I think that part was causing more damage than good. The states need it. The federal government doesn't need it.
It's interesting. The article or the thing you had says, they're cutting a third of the jobs, but the Federal News Network talks about the security division isn't even losing 20 positions. I mean, the other things are losing, which would be the marketing and all the other things, but the actual people trying to do security, it's only like 20 jobs. So really, the actual work is not really being touched.
Well, there's a lot. I've had two CISA friends the last week reach out to me for jobs. I don't know. I don't do the hiring. So I can tell you who to talk to. I can put in a good word for you, but that's about it. You're going to have to stand on your own. So, and they're good. I mean, that's the thing. It wasn't CISA people. The people that worked at CISA for the most part were fantastic people. It was the leadership. It was the direction of the organization. CISA itself didn't even have a strategic plan until 18 months ago. So we had already spent
billion.
Yeah. Without a strategic plan. I mean, I can't. It'd be like me going to the bank and saying, hey, I want to do this thing. And they're like, okay, well, we'll give you the money. And then, if you got some time in the next couple of years to come back and give us a plan for what you want to do with the money, that'll be good.
We'll be here.
If you don't get to it, that's fine too. But the sad thing about all of this, the information security community, the cybersecurity community is so tribal. So, you hear like 1,000 people, 1,000 of my people, my brothers, my sisters are getting laid off. Are you shitting me? You bet. Fucking evil.
Half of them don't even know what service or brotherhood is.
No, from a Marine Corps perspective, for sure. But without knowing, like, okay, I guarantee you that there was a lot of fat there. There's a fat in every government thing. It's just, there's so many things wrong with CISA, and to just complain or claim that, because you read some articles and it's like, this is disastrous. They use that word, disastrous. Really? 99.9% of the U.S. population isn't going to notice a damn thing.
If they called Evan to tackle the problem, would Evan answer the phone?
If they empowered me to do something, yeah. Get the fuck out of my way and let's do it right. Yeah, I would. I love the United States, man. I love doing things, and that's why I'm just going to do it myself. Like the Project Broken Mirror.
Right.
If you're not going to do it, I'll do it. And if anybody wants to join me, join me. If you don't want to join me, then don't. But we're going to map the attack surface of the entire United States, and we're going to update it on a regular basis. I think it gets to a point like if you want to argue whether it's the right thing to do or not, I think we have a really solid footing. So, I mean, it's already publicly available. It's like you just put a couch on your front yard and you're angry that somebody noticed the couch on your front yard. I'm just trying to help you. Like, maybe you want to move that thing. Just saying. All right. So anyway, the whole CISA thing, I think you could go a lot deeper. We could talk a lot more about it. And I don't like it when anybody loses their job, but I also think that every job everywhere, if you're not providing value, you shouldn't have your job. You're dead weight. You know, I mean, we've got things to do. And so that should put the onus on you to find out how you can provide value in your job or find a job where you can provide value. But anyway, that's enough of that. So there you go. Just another normal week in cyber. Buckle up. Now let's shift gears and talk about something we don't talk about enough. What burnout really feels like and why it might not look the way you think it should. So you ready for this main topic next, Matt?
Yes, sir. I'm ready to
This is the main
shift
topic
here.
segment. This is like the meat.
The meat and potatoes of what we want to talk about.
Do you like meat?
I do.
What's your favorite kind of meat? Like, what's your favorite meat dish?
Meat dish? I probably don't have a favorite. I'm a bachelor. I don't do a whole lot of cooking, so
If you're a
I'll do
bachelor,
like
you know what you need to get? You need to get yourself a smoker. Brisket?
I've had yours. I mean, you're pretty intense with that. You stayed up till like what, like 5 in the morning doing that thing?
Whatever it
That was
takes.
crazy. Steak's good. I like me some steak. I buy that. I cook that in the stove and shit.
I wrote a blog post that making the case that a good brisket is better than sex.
I remember that. That was one of your first ones.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Brisket lasts longer. damn sure.
Yeah.
And that's not her problem. That's my problem. You know, I get that. Plus, when I eat a brisket, I don't have to perform for anybody. Like, I don't have to worry about whether
You're just
you're
out there dancing by yourself with the water and
I don't have to worry about whether you're enjoying my brisket because I am. You know, I mean, it's like there's no like, there's no crying afterwards. I don't have to hug my brisket after I'm done. I mean, it's just I love
just
brisket.
wrap it and throw it.
Wrap it, put it in the fridge. You know, freeze some of it if you're going to eat it later. All right. Anyway, our main topic: burnout looks different than you think. So here's the thing: we talk about burnout like it's some sort of epic crash. Like you're going to wake up one day, quit your job, and vanish into the woods. But it's not always that dramatic. It's actually never, I don't think, that dramatic. Sometimes burnout is sneaky as hell. I know it is for me, and we'll talk about the times I've been in burnout. It's subtle. It creeps up like a bad smell you can't quite place. Now, when I have those bad smells that I can't quite place, usually I retire to the bathroom really quick.
Myself.
Just pull down my underwear, make sure that it's nothing in there. But burnout's kind of like that. So I wrote about this recently in a blog post. I've actually written a couple of blog posts about burnout, and I like to share my own personal experience with burnout because I'm hoping that somebody else who's struggling with burnout can relate to what I'm saying, and you don't feel like you're the only one, because you're not the only one. I know lots of people who have struggled with burnout. Some of us don't want to admit that we struggle with burnout. Some of us are afraid to admit that we struggle with burnout. There's lots of different motivations on why we don't share our stories about burnout. But the shit's real and the shit hurts and it sucks. And if we can stop you from getting there, great. If you are there, what are some of the things we can do to get you out of that? So I wrote about this in a blog post and, it hit a nerve because for me, burnout didn't show up like exhaustion. People that haven't burnt out before, like my wife, for instance, I talked to her after I'd written that blog post and she's like, so burnout isn't about working too much? I'm like, it could be, but that's not always what it is. There's lots of other reasons why you could be suffering from burnout. So it doesn't show up sometimes like exhaustion. Sometimes it does. For me, it usually shows up as nothing. And the nothing really shows up as I've lost motivation. I don't want to do anything today. I don't want to turn on my computer. I don't want to play piano. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want stuff that I normally love to do. I don't want to do it. And I don't know why I don't want to do it. I just know I don't want to do it. So I end up like sitting, sleeping, pissing away time on my phone, just, death scrolling.
Well, yeah.
But I'm just sort of dying. So it shows up as nothing for me normally. Nothing felt important. Nothing felt fun. It was like I lost my spark. Almost in it. I can see how
It sounds like depression.
It does sound like depression, but it's not. Because in my opinion, and again, opinion, I'm not a mental health professional, right? I'm not qualified to diagnose shit or anything like that, but I can share my opinion and my own personal experience. The difference is depression doesn't have a cause because my wife has depression things, and the cause is, there's a cause, but it's not an external thing typically. And depression, I think, is longer. It's more, what do you call that when it's like deeper?
Reoccurring or more
I think
rooted?
Well, for people I've talked to with depression, it's just, more
embedded.
That's Matt, you win a damn medal. I'm going to get you something good. Buy you something. Yeah, hell yeah, Matt, you go, girl.
You got to celebrate your wins.
You do got to celebrate those wins. Whereas burnout, you can come out of, and you will eventually come out of it. You always do. I don't know if, at least I always have. I don't know if it can turn into depression, maybe for some people. I don't know, but
I feel like we need an expert on here that was supposed to be here. But
we should give a shout out to somebody, just to tell them, how much we love them and how much we appreciate them and how much we appreciate being stood up this evening.
Yeah. This guy, Steve,
not to mention name Steve, right?
Yeah. We don't want to talk about Steve at all, but
yeah, the Steve we weren't going to mention.
Yes, we weren't going to mention him.
And don't worry about it, Steve. We are not going to edit this out.
Nope. You stood us up. So we'll
Steve,
figure it out next time.
Are we still going to be friends, do you think?
Yeah, we'll be friends.
But we've lost a little trust, probably.
Maybe.
I'm not going to share that. I'm not going to share that deep, intimate stuff I was sharing with him before.
So as you're talking about this,
let me finish, man. I'm like, dude, you got the damn script just like I do, bro. Did you see me say the last words on that thing? You got to chill out, man. We're going to do this. We're going to do this great someday. People are going to be like, oh my God, these guys are like experts. And we're like,
they're like in sync. It's great.
Excuse me. I coughed a little bit. I should stop smoking, but I'm not going to. So whatever. All right. So if you ever stare up, so I lost my spark. That's where I left off. You ever stare at a full to-do list and just say, why? Not why this task, but why any of it? I'll show you my task list. Oh, it's a long task list. I'm not going to show you, but why? It's, that's what burnout feels like. Burnout feels like where you just lost motivation. You lost the love of doing things that you always loved doing. And yeah. So anyway, now, as you can see from the script, Matt, this is where you jump in with your own takes. The stage is yours. What do you think about this?
Thank you, Evan.
You're welcome, Matt. I'm glad you're here this evening with me.
I was thinking you're talking about it doesn't look the same and you're not sure how long it lasts. So I'm thinking about what I'm going through right now. And I came up with an analogy about like hiking. So when you go hiking, sometimes there's a false summit, right? You'll get to a spot like, oh shit, there's a bigger hill. I'm wondering if that's possible because I'm pretty confident I was burnt out like 2 weeks ago. Blew up at work, had talking to, right? Recalibrate. And I started to scale back on things I was doing, working out less, but just relaxing or thinking I was relaxing. And now, like 2 weeks later, I'm still feeling this. Why? What the hell is my list? Like, I just feel like I'm numb or like nothing, I'm still feeling that way. But I had like 2 days where like it was cool. So I wonder if there's like I wonder if you can like trick yourself into like, yeah, I'm good. And that might be why it's, it sneaks up on you, right?
Yeah.
Because you think you're out of it and you're really not.
Well, we have an upcoming podcast too in the same mental health series about, healing isn't linear. For me, it's always been a bouncy road. It's never been a smooth path to anything. I mean, nothing in life has been a smooth path. So and I think that's life partially, but yeah, you talk to your therapist about this. Yeah. I mean, I assume that they'll have a lot more perspective because they've dealt with a lot more people on these things. Him and Steve, the guy who didn't show up tonight.
Yeah,
be able to help
the
us.
Steve who should not be named.
Yeah, it's Steve. Wait, can we? Nah, it's too much work to edit that out. I'm not doing it. Yeah, maybe that is. I don't know, man. I don't know. All I know is
what it feels like to you, right?
To me, and you're sharing what it feels like to you, which I think is important. Maybe you have been in burnout. Maybe you still are in burnout. Maybe it's varying degrees of burnout. I honestly, don't know. For me, it's always been pretty cut and dry once I recognize it. That's the thing. Like when it sneaks up on me, and it has nothing to do with work. It has nothing to do with sleep. I mean, it does a little bit. What it has to do with is continually making unhealthy decisions, like putting my phone down, spending time with my wife, spending time with friends face to face, going out, enjoying the things you enjoy, like scuba diving, like skydiving, like welding. You know what I mean? It's having this variety of things that don't come with pressure all the time. There's not that constant, like, got to get it done thing, or, what I mean? It's just, and you see musicians, like, I've been playing a lot of piano. Actually, I just celebrated.
Penis now.
Yeah. It's a big penis. I mean, I'm a big penis. I'm 200, but I started losing weight too. I actually started in my weight loss program, 9, 10, I don't know, 10, 11 days.
You're doing that 5 a.m. wake up thing, right?
I'm putting that on hold.
Oh, okay. So you're trying 72 hard then?
No. You want to guess any more?
No, I don't.
Okay, that's it.
You're just on a diet. Got it.
No, I'm just counting calories.
Oh.
I'm just doing two things: counting calories, because portion control has always been my problem.
Me too.
So counting calories and not eating after dinner. Just those two things. And in 10 days, 11 days, I'm down 9.2 pounds.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So like 242 to 230, I don't know, something like that. Whatever 9.2
cool
pounds
shit, man.
is. Just those two simple things, right? And I do feel hungry, like after, well, no, actually I don't. It's just at night. Because I was so used to just snacking and then going to bed. The whole rest of the day, man, I haven't really noticed anything. I just feel better. I feel like I have more energy. But I think, when we talk about burnout, that contributes to it also.
Physical health, for sure. It's all tied together. Like our body is one ecosystem.
Right. Well, and here's what screws with people the most. We think that if we're producing, we must be fine. As long as I'm still doing my shit, I must be fine. I was still working, still checking the boxes, but mentally, spiritually, whatever you want to call it, Lee, I was gone. I wasn't there. Are you smiling at me, Matt? Are you laughing at me?
I was laughing at the call-y.
You're laughing at my notes right here.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to call it, Lee?
Yeah, I thought that was a cool word.
That's a cool word, right?
Yeah, call it, Lee.
I'm with you, man. All right. But no matter what, I was gone. I mean, it's like no love for really anything. Nobody talks about that version of burnout. But we've got in this industry, cybersecurity, where the pressure is always on. I think we're ripe for this, right? And it's not just the work, it's the culture. I think it's the cybersecurity culture. We reward overwork. Like when you call somebody, Matt, when you call like a friend and say, hey, how you doing? They say that, or what a lot of them say, well, I've been really busy. We brag about that a lot. Like, man, I've been busy. Meeting after meeting after meeting, emails, can't keep up with the damn emails and whatever. And it's almost like it's a badge of honor. And maybe, in some respects it is. I mean, and if it's true, like share it. But it's not supposed to be a badge. Burnout's not supposed to be a badge. It doesn't make you any cooler. It makes you unhealthy, which means you're not going to live probably as long. It makes you ineffective. The worst decisions I've made outside of having shitty context on the decisions that I've made have come when I've been really, really tired. That's like you did like you were saying, last week when you just kind of lit it up. Sometimes people do that when they're just exhausted. I'm just tired. I don't want to talk about anymore. Just get your damn shit done. So anyway, it does come and it hits. Tell me was this the last time you burned out, Matt? Do you think?
Yeah, that was probably the most recent. Unless what I'm going through now is either separate or a continuation. I don't know.
You're committed to finding out, right?
Yeah. I'm we're gonna talk about ADHD, and then I brought up anxiety. So I'm doing like you learn about all these things and you hear them and then they go in and then shit. Like I'm really trying to learn more about me, I guess.
That's awesome, man. When I kind of got to that same spot where I was just kind of learning more about me, it took the focus off of other people. I stopped comparing myself to other people. I realized that the only thing I'm ever going to be the best at is the best me. I'm not going to be the best hacker. I'm not going to be the best CISO. I'm not going to be the best CEO. I'm not going to be the best anything but me. This is it. So why would I invest into being the best CEO at the expense of being the best me? And it's like when we do information security stuff, right? We talk about the importance of asset management. Like the better you know yourself, the more self-awareness you have, the more awareness of the environment you have, the better you're going to be at protecting it. Same thing with yourself, man.
Yeah, I got this a guy on my team actually, and we were talking the other day about situation not too long ago, and he's like, "Yeah, after 9 o'clock, I'm not useful. I'm out. I'll wake up at 4 or 5, but after 9." So he like knows that, so that can help you, prepare for things or respond to things.
Yeah. Set those boundaries, right? A lot of us, I think, you've heard probably work-life balance, right? Like, people use that all the time. And you've got a lot of people who think that's bullshit. I don't know. What are your thoughts on work-life balance?
One, I think it's different for everybody. Number two, I don't think it's ever going to be a balance. I think you try to balance, but I don't think it ever will balance.
Dude, I think we're like soulmates.
Oh, for me, where I'm at and why I probably have some issues I do is I prioritize work over everything else.
Well, that might be the stage of life you're in right now. There's different chapters, in my life that, certain things took precedent at certain times versus other things. Yeah, work-life balance. I couldn't agree with you more that it's different for everybody, right? We used to run into this at FR Secure because, um, when I was still doing project work, I would work 80, 90 hours a week, which was balance for me at that time. I mean, I wasn't suffering at all. And then, then other people would be like, well, if you do it, I should do it. Like, no, 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 no. Different. I mean, you may have a different balance. You got to figure it out for yourself. And I think the way you can figure out what your work-life balance is take a look around and see if other things in your life are suffering. I always use my wife as the barometer for that. So if my relationship with my wife was not in a healthy spot, that was a big indicator that maybe things are out of balance. Maybe I'm working too much. Maybe I'm traveling too much. Maybe I'm spending too much time on my phone, just because that there will lead to burnout. For me, it has just created chaos in my own house because of whatever things I'm doing. Because the truth is, for me, there is no such thing as really balance. The ADHD mind doesn't really understand what balance is.
Or nothing, baby.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what balance is. It's like telling me to prioritize shit. I can't balance. I don't know what that means. You know what I mean? I do know what it means, but I've never done it. I can't do it. And that's one of the problems. I think that's one of the things that makes me more susceptible to burnout than other people. Other people have their shit together, I think, a little bit more. They can be more disciplined with their days. They can schedule things and follow the schedule. I just can't do that. I mean, no matter how hard you try, it just ain't gonna happen. And I'll tell you, the last time I was in burnout was, I don't know, a few months ago, because it's probably like 4 times burnout. every time I'm like, damn it. I mean, after the first time, second time. So last 2 times I was like, really? Because you can't just snap out of it. You can't just like recognize that you're burnt out and be like, all right, we're good now. I'm
Body
on.
chemically changes the way it behaves.
Right. And it takes like the last time it took at least a full 2 weeks for me to get things back in balance. That's where burnout comes from me. For me is when I'm not in balance. The challenge is, which makes me again more susceptible to burnout, is I don't have a balance. So it's like, so most of the burnout, I think for me comes from, probably external factors that just weigh heavily on me, like my wife, maybe being upset, people at work, not reacting, not doing, I don't know what it is really, but you have to come up with a plan. I actually wrote a burnout plan. Did I share that with you
No,
ever?
nope. That's
Oh,
pretty cool though.
all right. I'll find a copy and I'll publish it somewhere so you can have a copy of my burnout recovery plan.
That should be like a quick little ebook or something.
I follow it because I actually followed it last time and it actually really worked.
Pretty solid. Nice.
Yeah. It would be nice to talk about here on the podcast too. I should have prepared, but I
You
don't do
need
that either.
so you have to know yourself to be able to know when it's happening to you. But then also everyone should just feel comfortable, be like, "Hey man, are you good?" Instead of saying, "I'm good," like maybe I'm not good.
Well, call people out on it, right? I mean, the people that I also wrote this article about, or this blog post about the circles. Remember that
Or
one?
3 circles.
Well, there's 6, but yeah, but the first 3, they're in order, right? So number 1 is Jesus. Number 2 is my wife. The next circle is, my family. The next circle is close friends, coworkers, right? But then that outside of that last circle is the rest of the world. It's like, 7 point some odd billion people. They don't matter. I mean, they matter, but their opinion doesn't matter. If they're mad at me, it doesn't matter. It's those circles, right? So I can always tell I'm in burnout when those circles are messed up. You know, the people that I count on for my own validation ain't giving it for whatever reason. And usually the reason is something, my own neglect, you know, because relationships take work, right? You got to pour time in it. Anything. So the last time I was in burnout was exactly what I described. It was zero motivation to do anything. You know what I mean? No motivation to work, no motivation to scuba dive, no motivation to spend time with my dogs, no motivation to play music, no motivation for anything. And you'd think that with all the self-awareness thing that I would have noticed it, but I didn't notice it. My wife pointed it out. She's like, "What's up?" I'm like, "What do you mean, what's up? I'm fine." She's like, "No, I don't think you are." And I'm like, "What makes you think that?" She's like, "What did you do today?" I'm like, "Nothing, really." She's like, "That's not you." I'm like, "Yeah, I guess." So then that's kind of what started it. But the time before that, the last time it hit me, it snuck up on me for sure. But when it finally hit me, it hit me like a ton of bricks. I was sitting in my car, bawling, crying. Just that was it. Hit that point where everything was out of balance. So burnout for me has always been about balance, which I don't have any. Again, that's the crazy ass thing, man. Being an ADHD guy, I got no balance. I got none. Like
You have some because you can walk on both feet.
that's yeah, maybe. But like, my sleep schedule, some nights I'm up until 4 in the morning. Sometimes I'm getting up at 4 in the morning. Sometimes I show up to meetings, every single meeting on time. Sometimes I forget I had meetings, you know. Today I actually showed up to every one of my meetings on time. That was
Do
pretty
you
cool.
get like a star for that? Like a gold star sticker?
No, but people are surprised by it when I'm already there. Yeah, I had meetings,
They're asking, shit, am I late?
right? Like my first meeting was about the CISP mentor program. We had the live mentor part yesterday. Here's another thing, dude. So my class that I was teaching, did I tell you about this? Was the network. Like I'm a network guy, right? Like I know networks like really well, and I don't brag about shit, but I do really know networks really well. So I wanted to teach this class. I love teaching it. So it's like I created out my lesson, and it was I explained things maybe too much or whatever. How many? There were 266 slides in my lesson. And so I sat down I took my mom to the airport on Tuesday so she'd go back to Dayton. So I figured, well, okay, Tuesday night, she's gone. I can record it Tuesday night. Usually it's like 2 hours. I'm like, this will be, so I'll start at like 9:30, be done by midnight, whatever. So started recording, and before I know it, I get this pop-up on Wistia. That's what the platform we're using to record it. That says I have 1 minute left. 1 minute left. What the hell is this? So I look at my thing. I'm at 4 hours, and but when that 1 minute thing came up, I still had 23 slides left.
You were in the zone, talking about something you're passionate about.
4.5 hours. But people loved it, I think, for the most part. I don't know if people would tell me if they didn't, but I think what I need to do now is take that lesson and break it down into smaller chunks. That's more digestible. But anyway.
Break it into areas, protocols or something.
You said areas, the first thing I thought of? OSPF. Do you know OSPF?
No. I know what it does, but I don't know it.
Open shortest path first. It's a routing protocol.
Like EGRIP?
It's another routing protocol, but EIGRP doesn't have areas.
Or RIP?
OSPF has areas. Area zero is the RIP.
BGP?
Yeah. I used to take, I got stories, so I'm not going to go there. We'll talk about that some other time.
Yeah. When I visit next.
So let's get real. Or maybe we'll do a podcast on network stories. I mean, man, there's
cool.
There's
I'd
plenty
love
of them.
to hear some.
All right. So let's get real. Burnout might not, but it might not look like collapse. It might just look like disengagement. And I have a friend of mine, really close friend of mine, who I actually called out on the disengagement piece. And I think it turned out to be burnout. And just talked to him today. He was another one of my meetings today, and he's doing awesome, right? So it helps when you have somebody, I think, keeping an eye out. But it might also look like sarcasm. It might look like...
Matt.
Yeah. If you start sounding like a sheep, Matt, you might be burnt out, right? And we've got to be better at spotting it. I think we are in ourselves and in the people around us. We have to get better at spotting burnout. The wild part, when I finally recognized it, it wasn't a fix it with a vacation thing. You don't just take a vacation and like, oh, I'm no longer burnt out, because that's not how it works. You had to change things. You have to change something. For me, it was finding joy again. The way I was going to find joy again was getting my life in balance again. Doing stuff outside of work, scuba diving, welding. Eventually that love comes back. I have a really good friend of mine who's a fantastic, like Oscar. You know Oscar Minks?
We met on that one podcast, but never met him in person.
Are you going to come to Hacks and Hops?
We'll see.
What do you mean?
We'll see if I'm burnt out or not.
No, you're not burnt out. I'll totally unburn you out.
Getsman is trying to talk me into coming to Secret Con, but I have a tattoo that day, so.
All right, but you need to come to Hacks and Hops. Then you can talk to Oscar.
Okay.
That's in, I don't know when it is, but
August or something, right?
Yeah. So Oscar, I have so much respect for this dude. He's a fantastic guitar player. Like really, really good guitar player. He doesn't play guitar anymore. The reason why he doesn't play guitar anymore is he burnt out. He lost his love for something that he's gifted at. It's not just, that's another thing about burnout. It's not that you're the only one that suffers because you're burnt out. The people that depend on you, the people, whatever gifts you bring to the table, they're missing out too. And he got burnt out on playing guitar because I think the pressure, because he joined a band. The band was really popular and it was growing. And then what was originally like a hobby now became a job. And I've heard that a lot. I've heard a lot of people that had a hobby that they loved to do, and as soon as they made it a job, then they lost the love for it.
Well, that's really interesting, because the other half of the world says, oh, if you do something you love, then you never work a day in your life.
Yeah, I don't know.
So maybe trying to think that someone's perspective is the answer to everything is full of shit. And maybe something doesn't work for everybody, and you need to find out what works for you.
Totally. Yeah. I don't like closed-mindedness. Like, other perspectives are so important. They enrich my life. They help me make better decisions. That's why I don't want a perspective really from somebody who's like me. You know what I mean? Like, if you have the same background as me and you're giving me advice, it's like, yeah, I mean, I heard that. It was going on in my own damn head. It doesn't help me at all. Oscar is different than me, though, because he's one of those Southern guys. He comes from Kentucky.
That's right. You guys were talking about the Wildcats.
Yeah, he's like a redneck. I'm kind of like a redneck, but from up north. So still different perspectives. I remember at FR Secure, this is probably 6, 7, no, maybe 8, 9 years ago. I stopped coming to executive leadership team meetings. We had them every Friday. And I just stopped coming. And they're like, why don't you come to the meetings anymore? I go, 'cause it's the same bullshit. We talk about the same damn things. It's just a waste of time. It's irritating. It's a bunch of yes men. It's a bunch of patting each other on the back. And that stuff is all good. But like, when are we going to solve some damn problems? And so we talked about it and like, what do you think we can do to fix it? And we came to the conclusion together that we need another perspective that's not like us, somebody to shake things up. Usually these people don't just like come to you. You have to be intentional, because my circles of friends are mostly people like me, mostly. So I ain't going to find it there. We have to go look outside of that. So we intentionally went and hired a woman, talk about a different perspective. Not only is it a different perspective, but they don't think like we do. And so that was Renee Rudder, revolutionized us, fixed us. I mean, it was so unbelievably valuable because, she came into the first executive leadership team meeting and she's like questioning things. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I didn't think of it, but hell yeah. It all made perfect sense. But it shows you the importance of perspectives just in that one little instance. Anyway. All right. So other things about burnout, Matt, what else you got to add about burnout? What advice do you have? Dr. Matt.
Put my hat on. I mean, I don't know if I really have any advice other than you have to do the work yourself. Back to your point, I think it starts before we can help other people, we have to help ourselves. You can't contribute or help others if you're not the best you. So it starts with us taking care of ourselves and being able to identify when it's happening to us. And if I had the answer, I would do it. So I don't have the answer and I'm still looking.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like for me, I know I do have the answer for me. And you pointed out, I think it makes perfect sense. What works for me may not work for you. You know what I mean? So I know what works for me because I've been here enough times now. And it's like, all right, damn it. Here we are again. And then that leads to that, I told you, as we're also friends, you and I, and we were talking the difference between guilt and conviction. Those are, a lot of people get those things mixed up. Like, guilt tears you down. Guilt reminds you of your mistakes and, doesn't want you to move forward. It just keeps bubbling up. Guilt is bullshit. It doesn't help anybody. It destroys you. But the conviction is when you identify that you made a mistake and you're going to be better off for it. I'm going to use this. I'm not going to do it again. I'm going to change direction. That's a growth thing. And I only learned that because I was stuck again, and I'm like, damn it, what the hell? And then the guilt comes, because before I knew the difference between guilt and conviction, then the guilt comes and I'm like, you're just not cut out for this, man.
You're sitting in self beat up mode.
Yeah. And then, thank God there are other people like therapists, pastors, wife, that can help me out of that. But I think the thing that everybody needs to realize, burnout is not a weakness. It's not a weakness. Because you burnt out or you're burnt out doesn't mean you're any less of a person. It doesn't mean that you're not cut out for the job. It doesn't mean that. What it means is you in my opinion, you got out of balance. And you're out of balance. The world will do that shit to you. The world will beat the hell out of you. Sometimes work is a big cause of it because there's unrealistic expectations, unhealthy expectations for their workers. And so it just contributes to that burnout. Sometimes it's, you have a hobby that gets way out of hand, and it's taking away time from other things, like taking away from work, whatever it is. I mean, it's just for me, it's always just been a balance thing. So burnout is not a weakness. It's a signal. If you're in burnout, pay attention. There's a reason you feel the way you feel. And if you ignore it long enough, it becomes a siren. So it's a signal. Keep ignoring it. It gets worse. So if you're feeling it, pay attention. It might not look like burnout. It doesn't mean it's not there. So if you're questioning whether or not you have burnout, ask. Talk to people. Talk to people that you trust. If you have a therapist, like I don't love my therapist. He's a dick sometimes, but there's a lot of value in that, because I can share things that, like, I don't know, maybe I'm going crazy. You tell me. Helps me process stuff. So if you're not sure, there's no harm in asking the right people ever, right? I can go to my wife anytime I want to, and hey, am I off a little bit? I mean, I don't normally do that. Normally she just has to tell me, but anyway, you have to, it doesn't mean I'm weak. I know she doesn't think I'm weak, right? Otherwise she wouldn't keep giving me tasks to do around the house that require me to lift heavy things. All right. Anything else to add, Matt, on burnout?
No, sir. You're not, well, I lied. You're not lazy, and you're not unmotivated, and you're not tired. You're burnt out, and it's okay.
Right. Yeah. And so we're continuing this discussion about mental health. And yes, we're information security people, not mental health experts. But I've burnt out enough times. I have friends who have burnt out enough times that I'm 100% convinced that this industry lends itself to being burnt out. Not everybody, but enough of my friends that there's something you got to talk about it. There's something you got to do about it. So, but anyway, work-life balance, we talked about all that good stuff. What about a takeaway, Matt? You got a takeaway for people?
I think my takeaway from this talk, and I think others could think about, is it doesn't always look the same, and something that works for you might not work for someone else. Remember, we speak from our experience, and your experience may vary.
That's a good takeaway. For me, it's just get real, man. Just get real. I don't know if you're being real or not. I don't know if you're being honest or not. I know if I am, and I like being transparent. I think I'm more transparent than probably most people. Part of that, I think, is it helps to keep me honest. When I say something and I'm not living up to it, well, then maybe you could say something then. Maybe you could be like, hey, you said this thing, but I'm not seeing you do that. Like, what's up? Then it makes me think like, oh, shit. All right, maybe I lost my way a little bit. But everybody, I mean, we're all human. It has nothing to do with strength. It has nothing to do with how determined you are. It has nothing to do with how much of a man you are, how much of a woman you are, how much of whatever you are. It's just life, man. I mean, life gets weird. Life gets out of balance sometimes. Sometimes you feel overwhelmed, and sometimes it leads to this burnout thing. Now, next week is checking in on your strong friends. I'm thinking I might bring one of my strong friends.
What if you're the strong friend?
Same thing. I need somebody to check in on me. I was talking to one of my strong friends, a guy that I admire. I mean, the guy is one of the best leaders I've ever met. He's just a fantastic, he's always there. He's always just he's, when I wrote that article, I was thinking about him. And he's the guy I'm actually going to see if he'll join us next week and share it, because when I was talking to him, we got real in a conversation, and he said, nobody ever asks how I'm doing. Everybody always asks how my wife's doing, how my kids are doing, how's work doing. Nobody asks about how I'm doing. I was like, damn, you're right. I mean, I do. I ask how you doing, man? I'm doing good. But no, dude, I know you
really, what's going on?
I know you went through this. I know you went through that. I know you're working on all these other projects. And if you are still holding it together, how the fuck are you holding it together? Maybe you can teach me something. But it was, we're going to do that. And then for listeners who actually made it this far through the podcast, we started off kind of funky because I'm trying to figure out how to dial this thing in so it's a really pleasant experience for people. we're going to do that because I think both you and me, Matt, are committed to make this more valuable. All right, so let's wrap this insanity up. I'll say it one more time. If there's one thing I want you to walk away with today, it's this: burnout isn't about being tired. It's about being disconnected from purpose, from joy, from yourself. And the worst part, you can be in the middle of it and not even realize it because everything still looks fine. So here's your challenge this week. Check in with yourself. Not how busy am I, but how connected am I? If you feel off, don't ignore it. Talk to somebody. Take a damn break. Do something just because it makes you feel alive. That's what I'm going to close with. All right, next
So I
week we're
should
on
go jump out of an airplane again.
Yeah, why not? If that's what makes you feel alive, do it. I told you squirreled me again. On my last motorcycle accident, not the last one, but the one before that, when I hit the deer, I totaled my bike and slid down the highway. I don't know how far I slid, but it was a long ways. And I mean, it was a bad accident for sure. My wife said, I can't get another bike. I was like, okay, whatever. But eventually it got to the point like, you can't let fear stop you from doing something you love. I love riding motorcycles. I'm not going to stop. You know what I mean? I'm not afraid. Because the only reason why I was stopping is because you were afraid. But like, if you love me, you let me do it. And it's not because, I get, you say you love me because you don't want me to die or get hurt, but I would rather die or get hurt than not do it. You know what I mean? It was good for us to go through that together. All right, so next week, we're staying on the mental health path, again, chatting about another blog post I published this one's titled Check on Your Strong Friends. I'm going to try to have a really strong friend of mine come and join us. If you haven't read it, go check it out on my blog. It's myname.com, evanfrancine.com. Until then.
It's in the description of the show notes.
Description of the show notes. I like it. So until then, keep your head up, your firewall tight. This is a nice closing, right? I wrote this. Keep your head up, keep your firewall tight, and your sense of humor intact. I think we're supposed to tell people to smash the follow button or something. Leave us a review.
Smash the follow button.
That's the thing that the Gen Xers, am I a Gen Xer? Whatever generation does that shit. You're supposed to smash the follow button. Leave us a review if you've got a second, and we'll catch up next time on InfoSec to Insanity. Stay sane out there. If you can. All right, man. Good job.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah. Okay. I started off, I think what threw me off so much in that beginning was